Okay, Aaron Chafe, a candidate that I haven't worked with before in the past, currently lives in Cannock, about 3 years experience working in .NET, both Windows and web, if I've got this right. Yeah, I want to introduce him to you and dive in straight away with a question. Tell me a bit more about yourself, really, and what kind of technologies you like to be using.
Yeah, so I like the technologies I like the best are Angular and C#. It's the ones I've done the most with. I really enjoy. I've done quite a few big projects in Angular, Angular 1, and a couple of other things in Angular 2. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. So and any JavaScript framework, really, I quite like. I quite like using JavaScript now. I feel like I've got to a good level with it.
So in an ideal world, then, I mean, how much of your, in terms of the next role, how much would be front end and how much be back end type of thing?
I'd say at most 50% front end. I like front end, but I do prefer back end a lot more. I like working in whether that be C# or Node or whatever. I like doing the back end stuff quite a bit more.
Good stuff. And so, think about the last 3 years of your commercial experience. Then, if you can, just describe to me a project which you're most proud of, and in particular, what your type of involvement was in that.
Yeah, I'd say my biggest one would be we had this project called Dynamic Forms, which was it was basically to write this new project for consultations within our clinic software, and that was basically to have these big forms that you can configure and validate through everything. Basically configure them exactly how you want. Essentially, you could build a whole system out of them. So yeah, I wrote about 50% of that and designed a lot of it, and I architected a lot of it and picked the technology for it, which was Angular, which was had a bit of resistance when I first said let's use Angular, because I was towards the mid. I was about 6 months with the company at that point, but they trusted me, and it's worked out, and it's across customer sites across the country, and the company that bought us out want to put it into their products as well. So I'd say that's definitely my biggest achievement.
Cool. What was the problem you was trying to overcome then in that respect? What was the whole point?
Sorry, you cut out a second there. What was that?
Yeah, so what was the whole point of the project? What was the problem
so we had
for
consultations for patients that come into clinics. It was written a long time ago. It was basically static forms. It was question and then a string answer or whatever. So the idea was that you'd be able to configure these forms to put, instead of having a load of different ones, you'd put everything in one. So if you answered something to this question, it'd enable a load of other stuff, do some checks, and then go on like that. So it'd be validating things constantly as you went through. You'd be able to build up the forms from an editor, basically to allow the users to create their own really rich forms that were was made for their kind of data, so you could pull through data from demographics and that without having to contact us to say, could you make us some forms instead. So overall it was like a refresh kind of thing of old stuff, renewing it and enhancing it and allowing the users to then be able to configure their own stuff with all this power of validation and cross data sharing between forms. So
good stuff. And what technology was that?
So for that we used Angular 1 for the front end. We had a C# web API for the back end into SQL Server for the database.
Cool. So in terms, I know you've already picked up on this a little bit, but in terms of the kind of role you're looking for, thinking about the reasons why you want to get out of where you are, what's important to you within the position?
So as always, I'm looking for something that challenges me, that's gonna push me forward skills wise. But I'm looking for somewhere where I can progress in my career. Cause obviously, I want to aim towards moving up to senior developer in my career, and I want to make sure that that's possible where I go next. I'd say something else will be using modern technologies. I don't really want to go to somewhere that's using old, outdated stuff, because that's not what I want to be learning.
Yeah.
So, and I guess the the final thing, which is pretty important to me as well, is that the company actually has a roadmap of where they're going and what they want to do, rather than just taking things as they come and just do it. Because I like to know what's coming next, so I know that I've what I've got to do in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. And are you any different to perhaps any other developer?
You cut out again there. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So, why are you any different to any other developer? What do you bring to the table?
Yeah, I'd say so. Although I have my favourite technologies, I really don't mind learning, and I'm fast at learning new things. I've been thrown new things numerous times to learn them and implement them. I've managed to learn them to a good level and use them in my day-to-day job, even if it's for a short period of time. I'd say I'm also, even though I'm more of a mid-level role at the moment, I'm constantly invited to meetings with technical architects and have my input on those, so on technology and architectural decisions for new applications or existing applications, and that gets taken on board. So I'd say I've got a big input that way, even though that's not my role as of now. But yeah, and I'd say as of the final thing was during my placement year, I was hired. So it's a 16-month placement year, and I was hired within the first 3 months of that because they were impressed with what I was doing and where I was going. So, and they kept me, so they obviously liked what I was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good stuff. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, look, thanks for your time,
Thank you very much.
I'll speak to you shortly. All right. Thanks. Bye.